National Housing Corporation revolution the way construction was done.
It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. Visit us at Park Range, Bastille, or call us today at 869-466-4701 for your future security. Easy no man.
Some companies are seeing lower revenue resulting in cash flow due to slow activities as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thus, persons will experience financial difficulties that may be traumatic. It can be very devastating for persons who have been made redundant or received salary cuts due to the COVID-19 pandemic or any other reason, as a matter of fact, because everyone has bills to pay and their families to take care of. This is why the National Housing Corporation NHC, we are making it a bit more comfortable for homeowners. Being without a job can drive anyone insane. You can lose your home, your vehicle, health benefits, go hungry, and the list goes on and on. And so, NHC has put in place some measures to assist homeowners who have suffered from loss of jobs, reduced work hours, or salary reduction. What we did was adopt ECCB's suggestion of a moratorium benefit that gives homeowners a 3-month deferment on their mortgage payment and a waiver on accrued interest. In doing so, qualified homeowners' daily interest will be waived for 3 months and they do not have to worry about making their mortgage payments for 3 months as well. Of course, there are prerequisites for them to benefit from this offer. And these prerequisites are: you must be current in your monthly payments, you must submit an unemployment or related letter from your employer, or you must submit proof of entrepreneurship, that is, if you are self-employed. Although we stated that you must be current in your monthly payments, we still must use our discretion as some persons have other underlying issues. If you fit any of these categories, the process begins with you coming into NHC and speaking with a client relations officer. Our competent staff will ensure that you are guided in the right way to complete this transaction. NHC has been monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and adhering to the NEOC and task force protocols to keep our staff and homeowners safe at all times when on the corporation's compound, that is. And so, when entering our offices, you must use the hand sanitizers installed at all entry points, practice social distancing by following the 6 feet markings in waiting lines, and ensure that you wear your mask at all times. During the pandemic, you may also suffer from stress or anxiety as a result of not knowing what to do without employment. If this is so, we encourage you to seek help through the medical officials or any government assistance program that is afforded to you. You can call 467-1314 or 467-1224 to find out what programs and benefits are available to help you to get through this difficult period. These are some other tips to keep you safe and healthy during the pandemic. Exercise frequently, wash your hands often, keep your hands out of your face, which is very difficult to do at times. Eat healthy. You buy nutrient-rich, immune-boosting vitamins. Avoid overcrowded places. Clean your home and surrounding areas frequently. Stay at home. Until the next time, stay safe and healthy. Seek professional and medical advice. Manage your cash flow and follow all COVID-19 protocols. For any assistance, contact NHC at 467-4701 or visit our website, nhc.kn, or our Facebook page, NHC St. Kitts, or you can come in to see us at East Park Range, Bastia.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here this morning at our very first panel discussion regarding delinquency. Although the main topic is delinquency, we will venture to discuss a few other things that I think will interest the listening and viewing audience. So I'm Jonal Wallins, the Client and Public Relations Manager at NHC, and I have with me Candice Keynes, Mrs. Candice Keynes Dickinson, who is the board secretary. And so we are ready to give you some exciting information that will assist you in not just coping with COVID-19, but managing your mortgage at NHC. And so, Mrs. Dickinson, how are you this morning?
Some companies are seeing lower revenue resulting in cash flow due to slow activities as a result of the COVID 19 pandemic. Thus, persons will experience financial difficulties that may be traumatic. It can be very devastating for persons who have been made redundant or received salary cuts due to the COVID 19 pandemic or any other reason, as a matter of fact, because everyone has bills to pay and their families to take care of. This is why the National Housing Corporation NHC, we are making it a bit more comfortable for homeowners. Being without a job can drive anyone insane. You can lose your home, your vehicle, health benefits, go hungry, and the list goes on and on. And so, NHC has put in place some measures to assist homeowners who have suffered from loss of jobs, reduced work hours, or salary reduction. What we did was adopt ECCB's suggestion of a moratorium benefit that gives homeowners a 3 month deferment on their mortgage payment and a waiver on accrued interest. In doing so, qualified homeowners' daily interest will be waived for 3 months and they do not have to worry about making their mortgage payments for 3 months as well. Of course, there are prerequisites for them to benefit from this offer. And these prerequisites are: you must be current in your monthly payments, you must submit an unemployment or related letter from your employer, or you must submit proof of entrepreneurship, that is, if you are self employed. Although we stated that you must be current in your monthly payments, we still must use our discretion as some persons have other underlying issues. If you fit any of these categories, the process begins with you coming into NHC and speaking with a client relations officer. Our competent staff will ensure that you are guided in the right way to complete this transaction. NHC has been monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and adhering to the NEOC and task force protocols to keep our staff and homeowners safe at all times when on the corporation's compound, that is. And so, when entering our offices, you must use the hand sanitizers installed at all entry points, practice social distancing by following the 6 feet markings in waiting lines, and ensure that you wear your mask at all times. During the pandemic, you may also suffer from stress or anxiety as a result of not knowing what to do without employment. If this is so, we encourage you to seek help through the medical officials or any government assistance program that is afforded to you. You can call 467-1314 or 467-1224 to find out what programs and benefits are available to help you to get through this difficult period. These are some other tips to keep you safe and healthy during the pandemic. Exercise frequently, wash your hands often, keep your hands out of your face, which is very difficult to do at times. Eat healthy. You buy nutrient-rich, immune-boosting vitamins. Avoid overcrowded places. Clean your home and surrounding areas frequently. Stay at home. Until the next time, stay safe and healthy. Seek professional and medical advice. Manage your cash flow and follow all COVID-19 protocols. For any assistance, contact NHC at 467-4701 or visit our website, nhc.kn, or our Facebook page, NHC St. Kitts, or you can come in to see us at East Park Range, Bastia.
National Housing Corporation revolutionized the way construction was done, especially building small.
Welcome back. We do apologize for the technical difficulty. And as I said previously, this is the first panel discussion regarding NHC's delinquency. We will have follow-up discussions on other areas of topics, but for today we will focus on delinquency and throw in a few other comments and information for you. We will have Mrs. Kane Dickinson continue.
Okay, again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. So I wanted to give our viewing audience, Janelle, an idea of how the NHC came about. So the National Housing Corporation was incorporated in 1996 after being renamed from the Central Housing Authority. Most people knew it then as the CHA. But in 1996, it was incorporated and the name was changed to the National Housing Corporation. The purpose of the National Housing Corporation was to add and improve the existing supply of houses and enhance the usefulness of the funds of the corporation by promoting greater efficiency in the housing sector. Over the years, the corporation has strived to achieve its mission of delivering over 5,000 lots of lands to persons who are in need of land, and over 2,000 homes have been built throughout the island. You would be aware that there were several names given to these developments. We had the Supalo houses, the affordable houses, house Sinkits, the Nima houses, the SH500 houses, the SSMC houses, and then we started doing townhouses and duplex houses. We also had the Carifesta houses that were built under the NHC. We did the Independence Habitat 30 housing development. And we also, very late, did a program called the Unity Housing Solution. Based on our records, we have provided over 2,000 homes to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis during the last 24 years of the existence of the National Housing Corporation. And we are very proud of that achievement. So this week, we are celebrating our anniversary of 24 years. And we felt that it is important to engage our clients more and the general public on a whole on what NHC is doing, but also what are some of the challenges that are prohibiting the NHC from doing a lot more. We know that the demand for housing is great, and we would like to reach everybody. We would like to give everybody the benefit of shaking their keys and being happy, but we do have limitations just like any other. Especially now in this COVID environment, the corporation has been impacted by the onset of the COVID pandemic, and we have had to tighten our bootstraps, really. Otherwise, we would have lost that boot. So basically, we are here to discuss an issue of delinquency because it is the foundation of what the NHC represents, mortgages, and without people paying their mortgages on time and in full, the NHC cannot continue providing houses for other persons who need homes. So we are here today to discuss the issue of delinquency and also to engage the general public on how we can go about reaching some of those persons. Now, before I move any further, I want to explain to the general public how the NHC is governed. Now, the NHC is governed by a board of directors and is supported by the management team and the staff of the corporation. The board of directors is responsible for the policy and general administration of the corporation. The Minister of Human Settlement, who is at the helm of the organization, can and from time to time do provide general instructions or recommendations to the board on how to go about implementing certain policies and certain decisions. So that is how it is really structured. The chairman and the general and the minister more or less governs the entire organization. And from time to time, they do make decisions that is passed through the board and down to the management and staff of the corporation. So that is more or less the structure that we are working with when it comes to the National Housing Corporation. So I will pitch it back to Janelle because Janelle does have a format that she would like this panelist to take. So I will be guided by her and I will support her as she goes along.
Okay, thank you, Candice. Now, Candice just mentioned that NHC was incorporated in 1996 on the 1st of September, which means that we celebrated this milestone. And in doing so, we created a public relations campaign geared towards our celebration. So we focus more on our clients. Yes, we also focus on our staff, but we also focus mainly on our homeowners. And in doing so, we couldn't start out the week without God's blessings. And so we went to church on Sunday as a group from the NHC. And that went very well. The minister and the board of directors accompanied us to church, and it was a very fantastic message from the pastor. Then the following day, we launched our anniversary video where staff was involved, and the entire staff, the board, and the minister, Honorable Eugene Hamilton, congratulated NHC on 24 years. Subsequently, we launched our jingle, which is geared towards delinquency. It says it is important to pay your mortgage on time at NHC, and a video was attached to the jingle. The following day, which was Wednesday, we were on the Working for You television and radio program, myself along with the Minister, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, and the Chairman of the Board, Valentine Lindsay. So some of this, what we will discuss today, will actually discuss Working for You. So just in case you missed it, you'll get another piece of it today. On Thursday, we launched, which we have been doing for some time, our online payment platform. There's the online payment platform on the NHC website, and we also have another payment platform, which is an app by the JAD Cash, which you will hear more of later in the morning. Yesterday, we allocated houses, some new prefab houses, 2 and 3 bedrooms, to 2 lucky families. Now, 3 were constructed, but we gave out 2 yesterday. And those families are elated. I think I'm more elated than they are, because to see where they came from, and to what they're going into, it's breathtaking. And I want to congratulate NHC on that and give them a hearty round of applause and continued blessings from God to do the work that we were put at NHC to do. Now, today culminates the week of activities, and we are here on this panel discussion to provide you with the information. During the week of activities, we also gave out some tokens of appreciation to some ladies, there were no gentlemen, So it's all ladies who made 24 years with the corporation. They are Helena, sorry, Helena, what's her name? Charles,
All right.
Helena Charles, Miss Myrtle Nelson, Camelia Williams, and Mrs. Mavis Warner Cohen. So I want to
Tamina,
publicly
and
congratulate
also Tamina Byron.
and Tamina
Also
Byron.
Tamina.
Oh my God. Sorry, I apologize. Tammy, please forgive me. And Tamina Byron. They all made 24 years with the corporation, and I am congratulating them publicly on being there for 24 years and doing such a fantastic job at the corporation. The corporation would not have been where it is without their help. I also would like to congratulate Marcus Samuel, who won a gift certificate for two Boozies. Sometime last week, we ran a survey on Facebook, and that survey was to name the development of three new townhouses that we are constructing in Stapleton Residences, St. Peter's. And he was the lucky winner with the name Coconut Palm Grove at Stapleton Residences. So kudos to Marcus Samuel on that. So I now turn it back to Candice.
Okay. So what I want to discuss very briefly is what is happening currently at the NHC in terms of housing development. As you may know, the corporation was tasked with the responsibility a few years ago to build some 300 homes after receiving a loan of $50 million from the Social Security Board. Now, where are we in terms of that project? We are happy to say that we have produced over 300 homes. We are actually at 324, 34, somewhere there. And I say some because there are just a few that we still have on the ground that we are near finishing. Most of them are in the finishing stages. Now, you realize that we had only funding to do 300, but how many applications have we been receiving over the time far exceeds how much we were able to do with that $50 million in the last 5 years. We are at the point where we are closing down that project, finishing up what we have started, and we are also right now waiting on the word from our line minister to indicate what is the next step. Where are we going to get funding for to build another development? Now, the minister, he's very visionary and very passionate about our housing solution, and he has been working with his colleagues in cabinet along with the chairman of the board to come up with new solutions for the citizens of St. Kitts where housing is concerned. Now, while we are waiting for funding to start another set of developments, our focus over the next few months would be increasing the amount of bank houses, because bank houses, as we dub them, are significant and they're growing. And when I say bank houses, what I mean is that persons who own land do have an opportunity for NHC to build on those lands. Once they have paid for their lands in full and they have title for their lands, they can come to the NHC and we can assist them in building their home, a house on their land. Now, how do we go about doing that? We have a partnership with most of the major banks in St. Kitts, whereby we give those persons who come to the corporation for that assistance, we give them a letter indicating that they're interested in purchasing a home from the NHC or building a home through the NHC, and we send them through the bank and they get a favorable interest rate of about 5%. The bank assess their credit worthiness and their how much they can actually pay or afford to build a house for. And based on what the bank says that person can be approved for, that person comes back to the corporation and we look at our designs and we are able to build out a house for that person based on what they can afford. Now, we have done that. We have done it that way because our mandate really is to build for the poor and the indigent. And we say the poor and the indigent because we must understand that in the society that we live in, there are really some persons who can't access the bank and who can't afford to pay, their mortgage to the bank. Either they have aged and the saying always has been banks don't like old people or banks don't like poor people. So NHC is the guardian of that, and we try to help people and meet people where we can. So our focus are persons whose salaries are below $3,000 who may not be able to access the bank, and persons whose salary or combined family income is over 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. We encourage them to go through the bank system. We have found in the last year or 2 years that the interest of people going to the bank has increased significantly. And currently, we have more bank houses on the ground right now than ever before. We have had, I think, almost 60 bank houses built in the last 2 years. Currently, we have 18 that is being completed. So we see there another avenue where people can get homes built by the NHC, by financed by our banks. So we will be focusing over the next few weeks on channeling people in that direction, because as I said, the NHC, we're at a crossroad right now that we have to wait for funding to come into the corporation in order to build out another government project. So in the meantime, instead of sitting and not doing anything, we're saying if you have land and you would like the corporation to build for you, come into the corporation. We'll have one of our technical staff sit down with you, and they would guide you how to go through the process of the bank in order for NHC to build for you. And the other thing on the agenda of the NHC in short order is to assess where we can assist individuals. It can be a single man or a single woman who, they don't have a family of 2 and 3 persons, and they just need a start. They need a 1 bedroom house instead of a 2 or 3 bedroom. And we are saying we have to look at finding a solution to address the needs of those persons also. So we are committed to identifying persons through the application process who may not need a 2 bedroom house but would be satisfied and happy with a 1 bedroom, and see how we can build a house for those persons. So that is what we have coming up in terms of projects. And again, the minister and the board has been working very assiduously on finding the best solutions for homeowners and for potential homeowners in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, let me
So
just
that's where we are.
piggyback on what Candice said about the bank mortgages. A lot of persons are afraid to go to the bank, and fear in that they think that they will get turned down because of what the salary scale or their age. Now, take for instance, National Bank. National Bank has a program that's called Pride. And with the Pride program, they give you up to $650,000. You may not be able to get the 650,000, but they would, according to just like what Candice said, they will look at your salary and your other household bills and etc. And they will tell you what you are budgeted for. So even if you are budgeted for $200,000, you can then now come to NHC. Now NHC interest rate is up to 5%. The bank is 5%. NHC, there's really no down payment, well, minimal down payment. And at the bank, there's no down payment if it's under $400,000. So instead of waiting on NHC, the best thing for you to do is go to the bank and apply. NHC will assist you in that regard by giving you a letter to take to the bank. We will build for you. The reason why people will come to NHC after getting the bank funding is that it still works out a bit cheaper for NHC to be the contractors. So I encourage every one of you to go to the bank, seek the bank's option first. The bank takes 1 week, basically 1 week or 2 weeks for approval, where NHC will take a little longer. And with the bank as well, if the bank tells you you are qualified for 200,000 or 300,000, you don't have to go and look for a plan and pay somebody to design your house plan. You can actually use one of NHC's house plan, which is another saving for you. So think about it. try the bank. If you get turned down by the bank, then you can always come to NHC and say, well, I'll wait because I don't have another choice at the moment. Now, there's also another program. The Development Bank can also submit something to us to build for you. It's not just National Bank, even your other financial institution. So there are various options for building at this time. Right, Candice?
Yes, definitely. So we will encourage persons, as I said, to come into the corporation. Most persons, they submit an application and they don't hear anything, and they panic because I submitted an application, I went in for an interview, I don't hear anything. Sometimes the best approach is consultation. Come into the corporation, meet with one of our agents, and they would assist you accordingly. And our staff has been, trained to, engage people a little more than usual. Explain to them what the options are. And right now, the options that we are looking at are going through the bank route of getting finances and then coming to the NHC, and the NHC can bill for you. So we definitely encourage it. As Janelle mentioned, currently we use the National Bank. We send people to the National Bank, we send people to the Development Bank, and other persons come saying, well, I bank with another bank, or I use another financial institution. Can I use my bank? And definitely you can do that. We will provide a draft of the house that you would like to build. We will provide you with an estimate to how much it would cost to build that house and everything. But first, go to the bank, see what the bank says you are capable of managing in terms of a mortgage debt, and then we can come and tailor a solution that best meets your pocket.
And you did mention age. Well, you say old. I'll say age. Another thing is age. The bank takes that into consideration as well. Because not because you're 50 or 55, it doesn't mean you can't get a mortgage loan from the bank. All they do is that instead of you getting 30 years, you will now get maybe 15, 13 years to pay it off. And that only affects the amount you have to pay back monthly. It does not really affect you not getting a mortgage through the bank. And one last thing I want to touch on when it comes to applying at NHC. Sometimes you may go online to apply www.nhc.kn, and you're applying for a home, and you'll see two applications. One will say building assistance and one will say housing scheme. So let me just explain. The building assistance application for those applications are for persons who have land and want us to build on their land. The housing scheme are for persons who do not have land, and so NHC will build on our land for that person. I just want to clarify that. And now we will get into the juicy part of the conversation, delinquency. So tell them where we're at with delinquency now, Candice.
Okay, first let me explain delinquency and default, because there really is a difference, Janelle. So a default is where you run into a little hardship and you can't, your payment is late by a few days or a month. But then when it gets to 2 months and 3 months and 4 months and over a year and 2 years and 15 and 20 years, then you are delinquent. You are in full default of your mortgage. So I think let me switch that around a bit. Sorry. Delinquency is when you're late for a few days and a few weeks. Default on your mortgage is when you are late for months and going into years and decades. And that is where we have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have over 1,800 mortgages on our books. And unfortunately, over 800 of those mortgages are in default status, which means in a regular banking system or mortgage relationship, the owners or the bank or the financial institution would have some right to foreclose on those houses. Now, but we are the NHC and we try to work with people because our mandate requires that, we provide for people, we look out for the poor and the indigent. But what we are finding is that more and more persons are slowly going into delinquency and into default of their mortgages. One, they're not coming in and indicating to us that they have a financial issue and they need some kind of consideration. And the numbers are growing significantly. And I don't want to say it is okay to be delinquent for a few days or weeks or months, but understand that what the NHC does is for persons. So while you were the lucky recipient of a house and you suddenly stop paying your mortgage and 10 other persons stop paying their mortgages, realize you're depriving another two, three, four, five, six, and another 10 persons from feeling the joy of owning a home as well. So that is where we have a serious issue with the delinquency in order to make good on the mandate of the National Housing Corporation, which is to continuously improve on the supply of houses. So that it really impacts our ability to supply houses. Okay? So again, when you are delinquent is when you are late a few days, a few weeks, and maybe a month, but your mortgage actually goes into default after you are late a few months, years, and even decades. And sad to say, there are persons who have not paid their mortgages for years, and those
Decades.
persons continue to live in the decades. Thank you, Janelle. And those persons continue to live in their homes, and they some are happy, some are not. But the obligation that you have taken on when you sign a mortgage agreement with the corporation, you have neglected that. And that is a serious concern. And I want people to really stop and do some introspection on what does the ripple effect that it has on the economy and the rest of the persons who are in waiting, because it does. Every time you choose not to pay your mortgage, you are preventing another person from owning a home, and that is the reality.
And not only that, Candice, that people are in their homes comfortable and not paying, but we have persons with homes, NHC houses, that they have them rented out and they're collecting the rent on these homes and not paying NHC. What do you
Yes,
say about
and
that?
that is a serious issue, because the challenge for the corporation is, who do we go after? Do we go after the tenant of the home, or do we go after the person who signed the contract? The thing is, we go after the person who signed the mortgage contract. What is going to happen is that we are going to put the tenant out on the street, and we don't necessarily want to do that. But the person who signed the contract, the mortgagee, they have a responsibility to pay the mortgage. We are saying that if you come to the NHC identifying yourself as a person who is in need of an affordable home from the NHC, we don't expect you to go and rent it to make income. No, you have literally deprived somebody else who had a much greater need than you did. And that is unfair to persons, and it's unfair to the system. That is an abuse of the system, really. And we are going to make it our business to identify persons who have been using the corporation houses for rental income and not paying the mortgages on those homes. We
And
are
in
going to make it
addition
our
to
business.
that, sorry,
Go ahead.
in addition to that, we also have persons who are not paying and are adding on. They're making
Yes.
additions to the home, putting on big adjoining rooms, like another home actually on a house, and are not paying. So that is another serious issue that we have on our hands.
Yes, it is. And more we see that happening. We see correspondence from the Development and Planning Board identifying persons who are doing that. Anyone who purchases NHC house knows the rule. You know the rule, and the rule simply is, if you're going to make additions to your property, you have to first seek the approval of the National Housing Corporation in order to do that. Some persons are going and not start and not coming to the corporation and saying what their plan is and getting the requisite approval. In addition to that, they are not getting the approval from the building board either. So what has been happening is that we are getting reports from the building board that this client in Pine Gardens or Halfway Tree or Sadlers has started a project, and the building board is very serious about cracking down on these things, because you're actually breaking the law by doing that. And the corporation has to take a firm stance against it. And we're saying, if you proceed to make expansions to your home that is not approved by the board and not approved by the building board, the NHC and the building board has a right to come in and demolish what you have put up. So unless you want your monies to go down the drain, I would strongly suggest that you get the requisite approval. Now, Janelle did mention that these persons are persons who are also delinquents. Now, just imagine that you are not paying the mortgage for the small house that you have, the existing house that you have, but you have gone on another debt somewhere, whether through another bank or lending institution, or you use all your savings and gone and add on to the property. Now, the risk is that you would lose all of that investment because, one, you didn't get the correct approval to do what you're doing, and we can demolish it. And two, the double jeopardy is there. You're not paying your mortgage. You're not paying, and you do have an obligation first and foremost to pay your first mortgage. And we have accommodated persons who said, listen, my family has grown significantly and I would like to add on to my property. And persons actually write to the board seeking approval, and we don't push back on those approval, of course, unless your mortgage is delinquent. And at that point, we say to you, well, your account is not up to date. Come in, bring your account up to date, put payments arrangement in place to bring your account up to date, and then we'll approve it. But if persons are not doing that, then we have an issue there. And again, this is one of the areas that we would be really looking at, because more and more persons are doing it, and it is a violation of the act. And if most of you read your contract when you get it, you'll realize that it's clearly outlined there that if you're going to make any changes to the property, even if you're building a fence, you have to come and ask for the approval, because what NHC is trying to do is build communities. So we don't want to put down a nice community with modern housing, and everybody have a nice wall fence around their property, but you go and you put in a galvalume fence. And then during a hurricane, the galvalume start to fly, get loose and start to fly all over the place. So we try to keep everything, straight and standardized. So we ask people also to come if you want a fence. Just write to us. It's a simple letter, and we will reply in no time, giving you that approval.
So Candice mentioned that we can demolish the additional piece, the additional building, if you did not follow the protocols. We can also go to the tenant, if you're renting, and ask them to pay us instead of paying you. Yes. That is an option we have. So think about that clearly. And we can also put eviction notice signs on your property. And we don't want to go that route as yet and embarrass anyone. So please, we're encouraging you to come in and discuss your account, see how we can refinance your mortgage to make it easier for you. Or if you have children who are grown and are now working, who can assist you in paying the mortgage, add them to your account, put their names on the account, and have them help you with paying, because you don't want to lose your house. You don't want your children and your children's children to lose the house. And that is what we are running from. But we are reaching a point where we have to take drastic measures. We have called persons, we have written to persons, we held community consultations, we had radio programs talking about budgeting and this issue of delinquency. And it seems that we are getting nowhere. Persons are coming in when they hear it at first, and they make one or two payments, and then they stop paying again. Persons are stating that, oh, my neighbor doesn't pay and nothing is happening to her or to him, so we are not paying. There are a lot of excuses. Some persons in delinquency or default for years and decades and buying brand new vehicles. So we even want to implore upon the businesses to do proper credit checks when persons are applying for vehicles and other loans, there are a lot of benefits for when you're, as to when your credit, you have good credit. When you're applying for a loan and you have good credit, it's easily confirmed and approved. When you're applying for a visitor's visa to the US and Canada, you have to show a letter. If you're going to tell them that you have property, they want to see proof. Where will you get the proof if you're in default? Not just that. If your children want a loan for education, you have to show that you have some type of security. And this is where NHC comes in if you own an NHC house. So be diligent, be responsible. Be responsible. That is the word that you have to keep throwing around in your mind. Responsibility. You can't be
Yes.
responsible if you have a mortgage that you're not paying.
That is correct. That is correct, Janelle. And you raised an important point earlier about persons bringing their children onto the mortgages, because what you have, certain persons would have gotten a house maybe when they were in their 20s, 30s, or whatever. Their children might have been young, but now their children still living at home, you know, but they are working age and they're not working, but they don't want to move out of the home, and they're there still, and you expand the home and you add on the home, but still you're not paying your mortgage. Now we're saying that if the children are still there living with you, want their own space and whatever, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but add those children to the mortgage, because at the end of the day, when the initial mortgagee is no longer able to pay for the mortgage, those children can step in and assist the parents. In that way, you are not at risk of losing your home. And it is like generational wealth. That's what we call it, generational wealth, because what you have today can very well be passed on to your children. But if you haven't been paying your mortgage and your children continue to live there, and they themselves got children, and your mortgage is still delinquent, if NHC today or tomorrow decide we're foreclosing on that house, what happens to the entire family? They would have nowhere to live, you know, and you would have lost that significant investment that parents or your grandparents would have made to ensure that they put a roof over your head. Now we see having a mortgage as a sense of security, and most people today need that sense of security, and we are asking people to safeguard that security by paying your mortgages. You pay your mortgage, you safeguard security. When you get to a certain age, at least you have somewhere you can will to your children, but you can't will a debt to your children. You can't will a debt to your grandchildren. And unfortunately, we have become a society of that. And I said that, I said that in the truest of sense, because we have people, not only homes, Janelle, but land. People come
Oh,
to
and
NHC
land.
and we give them land, and we give them a house, and they make a will and they leave the land and the house to the beneficiaries, but the land is not paid for. In fact, they only paid $100 on the land, but in their will they have the land will to the person, and they leave the house to the person, but they've been delinquent from the start of the arrangement. So what do we do? The land is owned by NHC still. The house is still owned by NHC. So your beneficiary can be the beneficiary land and house if you never paid for it. And we have had so many of those circumstances. And the NHC, within the first 6 months of a person dying, has a right to pursue action against that debt.
That's
So
true.
persons who think that if I got an NHC land in 1986 and I never paid a cent on it, but I'm going to will it to my children, you never paid for it, so you never owned it. So you don't have anything to will. And what you're actually willing to your beneficiaries is the debt. Because before they assume responsibility of it, they still have to pay it.
That's true.
So,
And I don't think some people know that.
wow, they don't. Okay, so
But
so let us look at
we also
go ahead,
aware
Janelle.
that there are some issues There are really some pertinent issues that why persons are not paying. There's COVID for one, and Candice will explain what we are doing to assist persons who are affected by COVID. But there's COVID for one, and then other underlying issues that we will take into consideration, but the persons have to come in and let us know. We can't assume that you have an issue where you cannot pay or you cannot pay that amount and do anything about it if you don't come in. You have to come in and explain to us.
Jonal, before we go into that discussion on, on the COVID part, let us play the video that we have put together this week on COVID, because I think it was a really nice video. Again, I love your voice in it.
Thank you, Candice.
Some companies are seeing lower revenue resulting in cash flow due to slow activities as a result of the COVID 19 pandemic. Thus, persons will experience financial difficulties that may be traumatic. It can be very devastating for persons who have been made redundant or received salary cuts due to the COVID 19 pandemic or any other reason, as a matter of fact, because everyone has bills to pay and their families to take care of. This is why the National Housing Corporation NHC, we are making it a bit more comfortable for homeowners. Being without a job can drive anyone insane. You can lose your home, your vehicle, health benefits, go hungry, and the list goes on and on. And so, NHC has put in place some measures to assist homeowners who have suffered from loss of jobs, reduced work hours, or salary reduction. What we did was adopt ECCB's suggestion of a moratorium benefit that gives homeowners a 3-month deferment on their mortgage payment and a waiver on accrued interest. In doing so, qualified homeowners' daily interest will be waived for 3 months, and they do not have to worry about making their mortgage payments for 3 months as well. Of course, there are prerequisites for them to benefit from this offer, and these prerequisites are: you must be current in your monthly payments, you must submit an unemployment or related letter from your employer, or you must submit proof of entrepreneurship, that is, if you are self-employed. Although we stated that you must be current in your monthly payments, we still must use our discretion, as some persons have other underlying issues. If you fit any of these categories, the process begins with you coming into NHC and speaking with the client relations officer. Our competent staff will ensure that you are guided in the right way to complete this transaction. NHC has been monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and adhering to the NEOC and task force protocols to keep our staff and homeowners safe at all times, when on the corporation's compound, that is. And so, when entering our offices, you must use the hand sanitizers installed at all entry points, practice social distancing by following the 6 feet markings in waiting lines, and ensure that you wear your mask at all times. During the pandemic, you may also suffer from stress or anxiety as a result of not knowing what to do without employment. If this is so, we encourage you to seek help through the medical officials or any government assistance program that is afforded to you. You can call 467-1314 or 467-1224 to find out what programs and benefits are available to help you to get through this difficult period. These are some other tips to keep you safe and healthy during the pandemic. Exercise frequently, wash your hands often, keep your hands out of your face, which is very difficult to do at times. Eat healthy. You buy nutrient-rich, immune-boosting vitamins. Avoid overcrowded places. Clean your home and surrounding areas frequently. Stay at home. Until the next time, stay safe and healthy. Seek professional and medical advice. Manage your cash flow and follow all COVID-19 protocols. For any assistance, contact NHC at 467-4701 or visit our website nhc.kn, or our Facebook page, NHC St. Kitts, or you can come in to see us at East Park Range, Bastia.
Very good, very good. So
Welcome
welcome
back.
back. Yes. So Janelle's video would have outlined what to do if you're impacted by COVID. And it is very
Janelle's
important that
video.
the NHC video did outline what to do if you're impacted by COVID-19. And it is simple. Once you're impacted by COVID, by reduced hours, reduced wage, or maybe you have been severed from the organization that you work for, we encourage you as our clients to come in and speak with us, because it is better for you to have that conversation with us rather than to let your account become delinquent and subsequently go into default. So bring that letter that your employer would have given you, whether it is saying that your hours have been reduced or they're unable to keep you on any further, and you're coming to the NHC. Our agents, they are trained and they are qualified to sit down with you, discuss some of the options with you. We'll even go into budgeting options with you, because some persons may find it difficult at this time to manage their finances and do need some budgeting and financial advice. We can provide some of that assistance to you. So bring your letters, come to the corporation, sit down with our agents, and we do have some options that we can put to you. We can look at your mortgage. We can maybe look at reducing the principal payments that you're making and so forth. Now, what NHC response during the COVID was very significant, and it's significant in so many ways, because like organizations such as the Social Security and SCELEC and Water Department and even the banks and a lot of it stemmed from the central bank and the government having a quick response to the person's need at the time. The NHC offered a moratorium for the first 3 months of the COVID experience, where we said persons who have mortgages with NHC who are impacted directly by the COVID, especially persons in the tourism industry, the taxi drivers, the craft vendors, those persons who provide services on the beach, or even some companies who may have had to shut down because their business, the main business was impacted by COVID. We decided that those persons who are impacted can actually have a waiver of their mortgage payments and the interest, because some organizations did not do interest, but we did both mortgage and interest. Now, the impact on the corporation has been significant, but we are taking that in for you, but we're saying there are persons who religiously came in and sat down with our people, sent letters, came, fill out forms indicating their situations. But then we have another group who never came in, and we suddenly realized, well, these persons were paying, and all of a sudden they have stopped, and they are now in delinquent. Now, we have asked the client relations department to reach out to those persons, not to harass them or bully them in coming and paying, but really inviting them to come in and have a discussion with us and documenting with us their current situation on the COVID. So we encourage that. We are very open to engagement, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to encourage that. If we weren't doing that before, I can honestly say now that we are open to fully engaging our homeowners, fully engaging our clients. Okay?
And you're
Madam?
absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct with that, Candice, because we are doing a number of things to reach out and to make life easier for our mortgage homeowners. So apart from the moratorium, I always get tongue twisted, moratorium benefit, we're also putting in place a refinancing option. For you, we are also making the payments available online. As we mentioned earlier, we launched the NHC online platform, and then we also have the JAD app that we will launch. Now, one of the excuses that we were given that persons are not paying is that they do not have the time during their lunch breaks to come up and make a payment. And by the time they get off work, NHC is closed and we don't open on weekends. So now that you have an option to make that payment, we are more than welcome. We are welcoming you to take advantage of that opportunity. The online payment is very simple. It's an e-pay platform, and you go to NHC, www.nhc.kn, and there's an icon in the top right corner that says pay online. You just click that and follow the instructions. That's how easy it is, right, Candice?
Yes, it's very, very easy. And we made it very simple for people because we don't want people to, spend too much time trying to figure out how to use our platform. So we made it very easy. You click on pay online, and right away you have to put in your name or your account number. And once you have your account number information, and you have created an account with us, register and create an account with a password, you log in on a regular basis and you apply your payments. You can use your credit cards. We accept all forms of credit cards, debit cards. You can use your credit card and you can pay. You can even make it a recurring payment. So if you save your credit card information there, every month your mortgage will be paid. So we encourage that. We also have at the corporation our card machine. We have established a card system at our cashiers department, so you can go and you can have your card swiped. The other option that we will be providing in a few days is the JAD cash payment. We understand that JAD is a growing app, and a lot of people are focusing on it. And there are several businesses in town that are using JAD for persons to pay their bills. Skelec is doing it. Not Skelec, sorry. The cable is doing it, and other business entities, small businesses and medium businesses, they're using the JAD. And we wanted to get on board because if persons are using their phones smartly, as they are supposed to be smartphones, you can use that phone to manage your mortgages as well. So very shortly, we will be launching our JAD app, and we'll be telling persons how easy it is to use the JAD to pay their bills. Okay, so we are looking forward to these exciting developments for the NHC. We are giving persons so many options that persons would have no reason why, Janelle, that they can't pay the mortgage. Okay?
And we welcome your suggestions because we don't have all the answers to make it easier for you. So we welcome your suggestions. You can email us at customerservice@nhc.kn, or you can go online, our Facebook page, St. Kitts, NHC St. Kitts, or on our website, www.nhc.kn. You can even call us 466-4701 and give us your suggestions on what you think we can do to make life easier for you as a homeowner in every aspect concerning NHC, of course.
Yes. Okay, so we do have a little more time. We do have a little more time, and we understand that there are comments and feedback on our YouTube channel and our Facebook, and we'll take some time to look at some of those. So if you have any questions, this is the time to put your questions there, and we can try and answer as much as possible. So one of our viewers, I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment, but it more or less said, and let me read it very quickly. Some people think that because they voted or campaigned hard for a ruling party gives them all the right to not pay their mortgage or to pay the mortgage whenever they feel like. Now, we know that people are out there thinking that, but at the end of the day, whether you supported a party or a ruling party or whatever you did, and I think it's a small economy, is either one or the other, really and truly. But at the end of the day, your responsibility is not to the party. Your responsibility is to your obligation. Your responsibility is to your future and the future of your children. So your party might be in power today, but your party may not be in power 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So what are you going to say when your party is out of power and the party of the day sets a policy that says if you owe for NHC house and you can't pay for it, NHC has a right to take it back, and NHC will take it back. All of what you would have invested and all of the work that you would have put in for that party would have gone down the drain. I'm saying if you have an obligation, regardless of your political affiliation, make good on your obligation. Pay your mortgages so that if your party changes today or tomorrow, nobody from the other party or the ruling government can make a decision to say, well, take her she house because she ain't paid. Now, people, let us get real. Politics is one thing, but our financial security is bigger than that. We have to secure ourselves financially because at the end of the day, the politics don't pay bills. The politics don't pay mortgages. You understand? I mean, when you buy a car from TDC or Hosford and this government is in power, yeah, you think Hosford and TDC ain't coming back for the car because your government is in power? No. If Hosford and TDC want your car, they're gonna come for it. No, we don't want to get into the habit of talking the politics and who you got, which government was in power when you got this house and when you got that house. All we're saying, you sign on the dotted line, accepting an obligation for a mortgage, and we're asking that you pay it, regardless of who is in power. Because at the end of the day, the government will change, and we have seen it. We have seen it in the lifetime of NHC. The government has changed hands. So let us be realistic. Let us remove the politics of the and politics does play a role in how the NHC functions and operates, and that is okay. But once you receive your house from the NHC, it is no longer about your party. It is no longer about the politics. It is about your financial obligation and your security, your financial security when it comes to owning a home. So let us focus on that. Leave the politics out of it when you don't get your home. The politics get you the home. Thank God for that. But pay your bills, pay your mortgage. Because the politics can't make you keep that house. Only you can do that.
And Candice said mortgage, but we also mean lands, okay? Because
Yes.
we have instances where persons come in and say that they got the land, and I'm just going to use a date here because I don't want to be too accurate. But they got the land in 2000. They paid $100, and now it's 2020. They're coming in to look about the land. They're ready to build now, and they realize they cannot build without getting a letter from NHC. And when you look for the land, you realize that the person has not paid a cent. And then you told them, well, we sent out a letter, we didn't hear from you, and the land was reallocated. And they're very highly annoyed. Now, our what you call it, our land debt is over $2 million. 2 million. So imagine if our land is $2 million in over $2 million in delinquency. Can you imagine what the houses mortgage portfolio is? The delinquency portfolio.
Give them the figure,
Just
Channel.
think
There's no
about it.
plan. Give them the figure. Tell them how much it is.
It's almost 8 million.
Yes.
Almost $8
That's
million
significant. Do you know how many houses that could have built?
So in total, we're looking at over $10 million in delinquency for both land and house. So if you are compassionate about other persons receiving a home, please do the right thing and come in and pay. If you're passionate about your children's future, please come in and pay. If you're a responsible individual, please come in and pay. We will work with you to
And
make sure it's more affordable.
not only that, Janelle, people talk of the politics, but if you really support your party or your government, wouldn't you want to do what is in the best interest of your government by helping your government to continue the housing programs? By you not paying your mortgages, you have prevented your government and your party from providing more houses for other supporters. So let us be real. What are you doing?
Point.
What are you doing,
That's
really?
a very good point.
So we have a few more comments. Phyllis John says, thanks very much. Very informative session. Thank you. Thank you, Phyllis, for joining us. Steve Payne says, lovely explanation, Miss Keynes. Thank you. Steve also said, I just hope these people are listening who think they can get away with not paying. I agree. I hope they're listening. I hope they are listening, because it would get to a point where the bow is going to break. If we as the NHC cannot fulfill our mandate, then people are going to end up in a situation where we're going to have so many applications and we can't supply the need of homes for people. And people are in need of homes. If you drive around the island on a regular basis, and you don't even have to drive it on a regular basis, drive once a year, go around the island, and you would see that people are in some destitute conditions that really need assistance. Now, we know that some persons are going to come and they can't afford it at all. And the system is designed to assist those, whether through the social services system, by assistance by the NHC. We should be able to provide a home for someone. And because of their financial inability, we can say, well, we are gifting that home to those persons. Maybe that person would have been homeless for a number of years, and truly they don't have a job, they don't have any source of income, never had a job, never had a source of income, because maybe they have been mentally ill and on the street, and they're coming around and they want to make life better for themselves, or we just want to get them off the street. What do? Let them stay on the street and let them die? No, this system is supposed to assist in providing a sense of security for those persons. Now, recently we built some houses in Paris, in St. Peter's in Paris, and it was a what should I say? It was a revolutionary idea that the minister and the board came up with, in that let us build a social building to address some social needs. We had a gentleman who is living under a tree with galvanized over his head. So, and we had other persons who just didn't have it. We have families, women and children who are in abusive relationships, or women and children who are moving from house to house, paying other people's rent, and the landlords not looking after the house. Children are getting sick because they are mold in the house, or the roof is leaking and they're getting wet while they're sleeping, and that sort of thing. And we design a house whereby we can have 3 studio apartments at the bottom, and we help persons who can't afford a house, can't afford to pay for a house, can't afford to even rent a house, and we put them in there to be comfortable, to live like a human, to have some kind of human decency. And we put them there, and we created at the top a 2-bedroom unit and a 1-bedroom unit, and we said that the persons who are at the top, they might have a job, they might be able to afford. We can't afford to build for them right now because we don't have any available houses to mortgage to them, but we put them in that house and we say, well, okay, those persons can pay, and we allow them to pay a rent that can help to pay for the entire building. And nothing is wrong with that. We are coming up with solutions to address some of the social issues, and we don't have a problem with that. The problem we have is that when we entrust our mortgages to persons and they are willfully not paying for those mortgages, for silly reasons, whether it's political or whether some people, and let's be plain, some people are ridiculous in their approach. You get an NHC house, you have 3 months to report a default in that house, and 2 years later, you come up with a default, and because of that, you stop paying your mortgage because you report that your tiles pop up 2 years after you get an NHC house, and NHC must come and fix the tiles. No, that is your responsibility at some point, and we are saying that point is 3 months after you get your NHC home. It is your responsibility to maintain your home. It is your responsibility to maintain your home. So if your tile fall off, good grace, is your responsibility to fix the toilet seat. If your tiles start popping up, if your paint start fading, it is your responsibility. It is not the corporation responsibility. No, it is our responsibility if those issues appear in the first 3 months of you owning your home. We have an obligation to come in and fix it. You have an obligation to report it. Once it is reported within the first 3 months, we will do our best. No, I can't say we don't have issues at the corporation. We have had some backlogs at the corporation whereby persons have been making some complaints. But this is what we have done very recently. We have opened a department that would deal specifically with repairs of some of these issues, fixing some of those issues. And yes, we are going to go back at some of the reports, the complaints that came in prior, because I'm going to be honest, we haven't been able to address some of them, and we would like to rectify some of those matters. While we are late, we want to do it and we have to do it. So we'll go in and we'll fix it. But going forward, you get an NHC house, you report an issue within the first 3 months, we'll come and fix it. But if you report that issue years later, we are not obligated to come in and do that. You know, if you were going through the bank system to build your house and you hire a contractor and the contractor build your house, are you going to tell the bank, well, I'm not paying you, the bank, the mortgage, because when the contractor built my house, a couple months later, I see a crack wall or my tiles pop up, so you're not going to pay the bank your mortgage? No, you're not going to do that. But some people abuse the system at NHC because they feel NHC don't have the teeth to come after them, but the NHC does.
To avoid some of these situations, because the National Housing Agency in Nevis, they were experiencing the same thing with the delinquency, the default on the payments, and the complaints. And what they did was now send every applicant to the bank. So you'll find that the National Housing Agency in Nevis, they do not provide mortgage loans at all anymore. And we don't want to reach that point either. We don't want to reach that point. But
because everybody is not bankable, so we try to help. But if the persons who we are working hard to help and to meet their needs and not fulfilling on their obligation, that's where we have a problem. That's where we have a problem. So we're gonna take a little break right now. Just yesterday we allocated some prefab houses. It's a new model and we want people to see it. So we are going to play a video showing you what the future of NHC may look like.
It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. The management and staff at NHC wants to encourage all who holds a key to keep up to date, pay your mortgage on time for your future security. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. Visit us at Park Range, Bastille, or call us today at 869-466-4701 for your future security. Easy, man.
Wow.
Welcome back.
So, we just want to put a plug. It is important to pay your mortgages on time. Now, you would have seen just now the video with the new prefab house model. Now, it was a pilot project. We decided to look at that option to see if it would be more affordable for our citizens to use that type of housing. The chairman in his speech yesterday was very detailed in, the quality of house that you would receive if you choose to go that way, the makeup of the board and the roof and the energy efficiency of the house on a whole. So we are looking at that option. We have indicated that the prefab house that was built in Stapleton will be available for 3 weeks maximum for persons to go to that house and actually take a tour of it, and you would see all the features of the home. You would see the nice appliances that it came with, and you would see the finished work. We are inviting you to call or visit the corporation, make an appointment at our client relations department, and Ms. Rollins and her team will be happy to organize a tour of that property for you. So we'll encourage you to look at it as an option, and let's see how we can help you get your home much sooner. Janelle?
Thank you, Candice, and thank you to the viewing and listening audience. We hope that it was very informative, and we look forward to having you with us again on the next panel discussion. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
National Housing Corporation revolutionized the way construction was done, especially building small, middle, and low-income housing. We built houses with bigger bedrooms, bigger bathrooms, all painted, cupboards, well suited and tiled, first-class quality. I usually refer to those houses which we built as houses fit for kings and queens. But we also built some studio units in St. Peter's, a place called Paris. Those studio units are ideal for the single person seeking to begin to build his own life, understanding what it is to be living with responsibility for themselves and for all of the utilities associated with the home. In this new term, we will do many more of those across the country. It is why on this 24th anniversary occasion, I am pleased to be here to say happy 24th anniversary to those who have all been associated with the National Housing Corporation over many years. I think the next 4 years is an exciting period, a period when young people in particular should benefit from the work of the ministry and should benefit from the work of those who work at the National Housing Corporation. I should say overall, benefiting from the work of the Team Unity administration. Happy 24th anniversary.
Just want to congratulate the National Housing Corporation for its 24th year in existence. NHC, as we know it, I believe have come a long way, and I too want to congratulate even the past board members who would have brought NHC thus far. I know under my watch as chairman of the board, we would have brought in some new ideas. In very short order, the corporation would be introducing online payments, and I trust that our clients can take advantage of that. I would also like to congratulate the other members of the board, National Housing Corporation board and management team and staff for this 24th year of existence of the National Housing Corporation.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC.
I am Juliana Edney from the Purchasing Department, wishing NHC happy 24th anniversary.
It is my turn to wish NHC a happy 24th anniversary.
Guess what? It's our anniversary. Happy 24th anniversary to NHC. Yeah.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC. It's been a pleasure serving the people with you.
Happy 24th anniversary, National Housing Corporation.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC.